yours, and I don't need a girl for me to do it. I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure for me to do it. I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure for me. I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure for me to do it. Yeah, I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure for me. No cure for me. Let's say, no cure for me. No for me. Yeah. Care for me, no care for me, care for me, care for me, no care for me, care for me, care for. Don't need to know, I don't need it. No, I don't need a care for me. I don't need it. No, I don't need a care for me. Ooh, is there? Creator mode? Yes. Radical. Need a care for me. No, I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure for me. I just realized the music in this world. Wait, no, don't copyright. Stop. Okay, who could have been bad? Oh my, that is loud. There we go. Let me take a look at OBS here. Alright, things look okay. Let me check some stuff here. Spotify a little loud, but let me check my mic a little louder. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Let me take the shuffle off. Alright. Goodness, my goodness gracious. You know well how I've withdrew, even there without a view, asking why we missed our chance. I know looking for something to get by, high and dry, anywhere. In myself, I'm looking for and dry anywhere. I'm looking for someone, everyone, sunshine, anymore. Someone anymore, say sunshine anymore. Even know what lies ahead if I don't go. There's a chance I take it slow. Then and leave this playing behind. Time to fail. Satisfied in my world, I'm looking for sunshine anymore. I'm looking for. Woof. Okay, sorry. I'm just waiting for it to say that I'm live and stuff like that. God, my ping is fucking massive. Ah. Oh. Oh. Okay. Ooh, it's pretty bad, man. It's okay though. Honestly, it's gonna be really bad in game 2, but it's alright. Honestly, I just need to make sure that we could get this shit started up and make sure it was like being done right and stuff like that, you know? Maybe I can like try to fix it up like later in the future, maybe? I just wanted to, alright. Anymore. 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 I'm looking for. Good shit. Okay. This is gonna suck in games. This is gonna suck in games, but I know that for sure that eventually when we upgrade our internet plan, things will be fucking crackerjack. This thing behind, oh, high and dry, well, anywhere, oh, in my world, oh no, yeah, I'm looking for. Okay. It's gonna make Magic Freeze Tag absolute hell, but I'm down for it. You know, it's okay. I'm streaming finally, so it's okay. I got people. Hi Zora. Hi darling. How are you doing? It's good to see you, sweetheart. Yeah, hi. I didn't see your things. Yes, hello. So my friend oh dear, does that mean that the Twitch thing isn't working on my side? Oh darn it. I was really there you are. There it is. Doing well, how are you? Well, I'm so happy, thank God. Things are going good, buddy. Oh, when it rains, I don't feel it. It's summertime, singing Al Green in your car, and to a party. The night air feels alive. Welcome summer night.
5, 4, 3,
He's not by my side.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Feeling dazed and I can't get him out. Oh gosh. Hello stream. How's it going? It seems that this game isn't gonna really work with this lobby, so.
Tails.
Howdy ho.
TallTails, whatever.
What's up?
If we do, you trying to do something strange for a piece of change?
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn. Oh, that's what's wrong. My voices were down. Howdy, howdy, my man. Oh dear.
Hi.
I'm gonna guess that nobody's like playing freeze tag, right? In this lobby.
Oh, there. I
Oh,
think
there's people.
there was
no,
people.
there ain't.
Oh, there was.
There was people, but then I guess
Fair,
they heard
fair.
us.
I hear you. All right, cool. I got you, man. Looking over things real quick. Thank you,
Another
Gazor.
streamer friend.
Howdy, howdy. I hear you, man. I'm trying for the first time in like a long while. I finally have everything down, thankfully. I'm probably gonna head into like another lobby, unless you guys are trying to play. Goodness. What's up, my man? Oh, just us. After this one, I'll probably just throw up a portal. Nice to meet you, Snow. We're meant to. Let me move my wristwatch to the back. Oh dear. Here we go. Ah. Whoa. Nice. What happened? Oh, you froze me, but like, it unfroze me. What the hell? It just unfroze me again. What is this? Blasphemy. I say blasphemy. Ah. What? The game broke. Yo, Snow, are you anywhere near? What happened? Snow? Wait one sec, Snow, are you around? Cause like, I think the game broke. Thank you, Gazi, thank you. I'm happy you're here too. Good luck, thank you, darling. Let's see here. I might have to respawn, I think the game broke. I've never seen Magic Freeze Tag break before, at least in this manner. Hello. What? It did break! It broke me out the ice immediately! Ah! Yo, bro. Okay, so, because it keeps... Yeah, see? It did it again. Okay, so I'm gonna throw up a portal, my man.
Game's broken.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw up a portal and, we can just go to that one. I think, there's some other ones that are active that we can probably run into.
Sounds good.
Yeah. For some reason... Give me a second. I think it's kind of messing... There it is. There it is. Gosh. Let me, drop portal here. Oh god.
Good.
Yeah. Sorry. I got like 700 ping, but I'm just happy that I'm being able to do this and stream at the same time. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Dun dun. Do 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 die. Bum bum. Dun 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 I. Bum bum. Dun 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 dun. Let's see, which one is this? What's the meaning when you have a broken home? Oh dear. Oh, there it is. This is Spotify. Let's see, there we go. Oh, there we are. Let's see, got this. Alright, I think I have the stream stuff back up. Thank you, Yazi. I appreciate it. Let's see here. There's the Spotify. So let me switch from... Alright, I think that's alright. And I'll just turn voices up. Maybe everything to 105. There we go. Alright. Where's the stream cam again? Behind me? Hello! Sorry about that. Oh, I'm a tagger. That's good. That means I get to look behind me real quick. IR become president. Alright, so that looks alright, so let me... Does that mean that I'm on the right side? I think so. I think that means I'm on the right side. Alright, good. Let's go. I got high as fuck ping, but I'm so happy to be playing right now. Oh dear! High five! Sentimental crying, Sorry for having issues. I hope it'll go better next time. No, it's okay, Yazzie. It's alright, Bubby. Everything's cool. I know it's like I have like bad ping, but I'm super happy that I can at least play this game even with high ping. A sentimental cry. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. That's so unfortunate, man.
I got them. Very, very tall. Sorry, Yukino.
Oh, icy.
Oof. Sorry about that.
Or I should say icy, I guess.
Oh, that was genius. That gate came up at the right time for him. That was so cool. Hello.
I have made a decision, and it was not a very
Epic poking moment. Prepare to be shoulder touched.
He didn't come back for you guys? That surprises me. I thought he was giving me the runaround.
Pardon? Sorry, Yukino.
Even right, I'm only doing anything I wanna do. So I do it all the time. Do. No, you're good, Yazzie. You're fine. Stop saying sorry. Oh yeah, I love Let's see. I love skipping everywhere, bunny. Mostly bunny hopping, because that's kind of like the way to move the fastest in VR chat. So you'll see a lot of people do that in games where like mobility is important, like Laser Dome and Magic Freeze Tag and stuff like that. Hello. How are you doing? Boopity boop 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 boop. I know I just met you, but I'm gonna give you a hug if that's okay. Alright, totally. Coolio. Oh, yeah, give me a second. I'll find you. Oh, big huggers. Hello. Are you the person talking? Was that you? Is that a no? Okay.
I like being free. I wish to be free. I do not wish to be in ice anymore.
Woo! I'm surprised you won. Great work, Taggers.
Maybe if I gain more experience, I'll talk to you.
For real.
Right now, my skills are not good enough for.
I'm on like, oh god, my ping is 730. Let's go! Been tried on running. This hero would be great at freeze tag. He probably would be great at freeze tag.
Sorry to have to
Like
be this way. Oh, you already have. I'll go after you.
Oh. Oh dear. Oh my, loading a single avatar did that? That's rough, buddy. I think he would. He would be great at freeze tag.
Damn. I walked right into a corner.
Take a look around the room. Love comes wearing disguises. Go about and choose. Break it down by shapes and sizes. I'm a man who's got very specific tastes. You live in just my type. Oh my, hello. You're good? Okay, so while I'm stuck in here, I think I have a choice to, yeah, I'm gonna start showing more avatars. And hopefully not all at once, because apparently loading one avatar fucking killed my frame rate. Radical. I'm so happy they added a height adjustment now. Because now I can be small in this avatar. Hello, Yazzie. I appreciate it, buddy. Oh, yeah. What's up, bro? Yeah. Yeah, I just saw Snow being teeny. Yeah. Hello. Give me a second. I'm gonna enable more avatars. Howdy ho. Oh, that's a police car.
My avatar to something weird.
Oh yeah. Oh dear. Let's see.
You're doing hugs, whether you like them or not.
I enjoy hugs.
Oh my god.
Even ones that leave me a little frosty. Oh dear. Let's see.
Nigga, shut the fuck up. You're selling me at all. Shut the fuck up, nigga.
Goodness gracious. Let's see here. What is this? Looking for the...
How about
Nigga,
a nice
shut the fuck up.
nice way to
You
smoke
fucking
Buddha?
soft as hell.
Oh dear! Thank you! Howdy ho! Get ready to go! Whoa, that spells danger. Howdy ho, get... Oh no!
Oh.
Dude, he frosted me right out of the portal, that was funny.
Surprisingly quickly.
Howdy ho. Let's see here. You were small and cute. Thank you, Yazzie, you sweet bean. I appreciate your company. Goodness gracious. Oh, cool. Attacker again.
See how my highness goes?
Oh, dear.
Oh, that is very bad luck.
Howdy. Things kicking for a ghost train. I believe not what he says, but I'll never do it once again.
Oh,
Mama
goodness.
told me this is my heartache, but nothing can stop me from going insane. Just calling me, saying my baby girl. Now he's in bed with another chick in his rose-colored world. Want to choke him, want to maltreat him. I want to squeeze him and break his neck. I say, ooh, ooh, oh, I've got nothing but a heartache. And I just wanna let you know that I'm about to go insane. You know that I will shoot and take my gun to shoot him down. Hello. Looking for a heartache. Oh, I've seen that avatar. I love that bear avatar. I had an old friend that used it a lot. You're so handsome. Oh.
Oh, that is...
Oh my god. Unfortunate.
Very much.
Of course, you look magnificent. Okay, I'm gonna give you a hug. Oh, thank you. Oh, so sweet. Oh, you have a good day. Goodbye. Just wanna let you know that I'm about to go insane. You know that I will soon take my gun to shoot him. Oh, I've got nothing but a heartache, and I just wanna let you know that I'm about to go insane. Whoa, he turns corners fast. I couldn't even see him.
Chop. I don't want to be attacked.
Eye for eye and tooth for tooth. Then let my heart let loose. Maybe pull away from me. My kiss will hit you dangerously. Night and sad. How am I Tagger again? Honestly, oh, let me show that guy's avatar. There we go. I choke him, want to mount feet him. Oh, howdy.
Come on.
You know what? I won't. Oh, I've got got nothing but a heartache. Hi, Azora. Oh, hydrate? Yeah, totally. Ah, that guy just passed me up. He's so fast. It's okay. Oh dear. Sorry. It was probably no, you go. It was probably initializing that one guy's avatar. Let me look down and it might work out. Okay, so let me I'll do that hydrate, of course. Thank you so very much, Ozzy, you sweet bean. I'm gonna get that glug glug on. You know, with a chug jug. Ow. So I'm playing Magic Freeze Tag, right? And I love playing it so often. Oh, give me a second. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? People, okay, you know what?
Hello.
Give me oh. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put that other guy's avatar on, and then I'm gonna get booking it. Oh, hello. I just saw a person in red, but I think my thing is so loud. Ah. Ah. Let me spank that butt. Hello.
I got her once. You can't have her.
Hello.
I almost got away. Almost.
You are a
Hey,
handsome
neighbor.
individual. Look at that wonderful tie. Look at the snazzy dress the dresses this man making. Oh god. Oh dear.
Thank you.
Oh. Oh dear. No. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about that. I lagged out. Have fun. Yeah, I'm good. I was just gonna point the camera at how snazzy you look. I won't even freeze you. Give me a second. Look at this snazzy man.
Got it.
Look at his dressage. Ah,
Look
he's
good for the cameras.
dripped out. Absolutely. They just. Oh my god. They belong on the red carpet. All right. Have a good one. Ah! When she's chasing you down, face first, you'll be thrown into the proving ground. She'll knock you out. Oh yeah, wait a minute. How was this? Was it like this? I'm gonna look behind me. I think that's how it was. And I'm gonna move it a little bit further back. There we go. You ever try to further improve how fast you punch people through the roof? Oh, was there ever any certain time when you thought brute force and style combined? Oh, I guess now it's time to shine, 'cause finally she's here. Here comes Vi. Ooh. Oh my. Oh! Oh shit, I wasn't even looking. How are you doing, Mike? I hope you're having a good day. Are you AFKing happily, right? Alright, coolio. You have a good one, buddy. Oh dear. Let me, 1 second, I'm gonna turn my master volume up. Alright, best of luck, everyone. I'm gonna get back to it. You never really wanted to be a total rebel flipping tables. I wonder if, like, I'm gonna look backwards, just see. Is that really how it is? Give me a second, I'm gonna move my thing and see if, like, you've chatted anymore, because I feel like you might have. Sand style combined, oh. Nope, okay, that's fine. No, don't even worry about it. Don't even feel pressured. I just wanted to make sure that I had chat up correctly. Okay. I'm gonna go get him, too.
Yeah. What was the game called again?
Magic Freeze Tag? I think. You're talking about what we're playing right now, right? If that's okay with you. Oh, okay. Got it. My bad, Z's.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Sorry.
But you're not fruitless.
Alright.
Thank you, Yossi. I appreciate it. I appreciate the good luck. I hope you're having a wonderful night up in chat. Woof. I keep getting tagger. It's crazy. Oh, yo, I got Snazzy Man.
Taggers.
Let's get him. Oh. Whoa. I had to look down because I was freezing up, but that's so funny that someone walked through me. Oh, dear.
Shoulder touch. There you go.
Danny, yeah. Danny. Oh, so cool. He's a giant werebear. Shaking a fan, shaking a fan, shaking a fan, la do da.
There you go.
Oh, that's kind of weird. Oh, that means that the portal was behind me. Duh.
Oh, hey.
Ooh.
I think you were the person I was following, but I'm not quite sure because I forgot really quickly.
Do make me crazy.
Oh, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
kiss me. Da da ba ba da da ba ba da da ba 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 da da ba ba da 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 ba ba da da. Oh. I think okay, there we go. I had to wait for the load. I'm actually gonna turn their avatar on too. Oh, they're so small. Oh, they're a Pokemon. Oh, it's Pikachu. Oh dear. The
Must I be on held on fairy?
Everyone has been shoulder poked. Grandmas! Big hugs, my friends. There you go. Oh. Goodness. But no train? No train.
to the me, make me crazy. Now kiss me. Da 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 do ba ba da 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 do ba ba da da di da do ba ba. Ba da 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 di da do ba ba da 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 di da do ba ba. Then kiss me.
High five.
Oh my.
Hey, bud. Shoulder poke.
Bug hug.
Bud hug.
Come on.
Howdy.
Bug hugs.
Do to me, you make me crazy.
Time to give some bug hugs.
Kiss. Da da ba ba da 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 ba ba da da di da ba ba da ba ba da da di da ba ba. Ooh, you know what? Nah, I'll do that next time. I'm gonna just switch to Rowley for a second. Da lu ba ba da 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 lu ba ba da da di da lu ba ba. Don't kiss me. Don't say it now.
And clothesline high five. Sorry
Oh
about
wow, clothesline high five. That's fucking crazy, dude.
Bam.
Just a little.
Thomas, it's really, really good. Sorry, you know.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh, oopsie. I was over here. Apologies.
Awesome, trust me.
He's like, it's awesome.
Poke. Oh, goodness. Seems like someone else got you. Oh, and shoulder poke. I missed. Okay. That was a good attempt. Almost shoulder poke.
Oh dear. There we go. My headset glitched out. Yeah. GG, well played.
My back hurts. My back hurts from carrying that round.
Let's see here.
Alright.
I'll pick that one. Okay, I'm not. Okay, I'm a runner again. That's fine. Give me a second. Nah, I'll stay.
Maybe not small people though.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I might be too old for that.
Oh man.
I was very close.
You have been captured.
Oh no, it's Jason. I've never seen him with a trident before.
How's it been going?
Yeah, this is
very good to hear.
Savini Jason, so he's been
It's very good
burned.
that you've been having a fun time.
Oh dear. Wait,
In an orgy
from which
skin.
movie?
Makes hopping on all the worth it.
This is from the Friday the 13th game.
Oh, from the game. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense why I haven't seen the model
Yeah.
before.
Sorry, bud.
Dude, he's crazy. He's a mad lad. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Best of luck, bud. What? We tried. We tried. That was really good though. Yeah.
We're outside.
Oh, the fresh air. Oh, the rain on my face. The wind in my hair. The leaves on my feet.
Sun.
The scorching flesh right next to you.
Numerous
Oh man.
and I am
I don't try to keep getting you, I promise.
I know the man. I know, man. Jason, like, that's my
What am I
Pokemon.
looking at?
I'll get you.
Oh dear. Who knows? Man, it's always. Thank you, Pikachu.
And we
Friend of mine, how? I'll fuck you up.
I wonder. Hey, Yazi. If you're there, can you tell me like how like how is the first person like camera working in like the top right of like the screen? Like, is it working out well or?
so cold.
Not cold enough.
That was fun though.
Didn't get her.
I could tell. Oh fuck me.
I don't want to look around.
Property, I am no one's property. I can't go back to jail. Federal prison is not my home. Sorry, bud.
So funny.
I literally.
Whoa, oh, bro, ooh, heart attack. You be a cute Raulu. Thank you, Yazzie Bean. I appreciate it, though. Think it's working as well as it can? Alright, thank you. Like, oh, cool, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for the hydrate, Yuzora, you sweet bean. Give me a second.
You love streaming?
Yeah, howdy ho, sweet bean.
Nice.
You know,
Ooh. Ooh, that made my gut feel so weird. Oh.
That way, so I will go the other way.
Oh man.
That's probably not good. I almost like passed.
Oh, nice. Nice. I worried if that was gonna work or not. Oh no, don't worry about it, Yazzie. Imagine if you were. I know, right? I really would actually like want to be so adorable. I definitely wear it. Especially when I'm in Magic Freeze Tag. It's important to be a little bean when you're in Magic Freeze Tag. It makes you go a little faster. But try not to be like micro size, but try to be small, you know? But you don't have to be, of course. Also, Yazzie, how was the music showing up, by the way? I've been trying to work with the resources that I have, and hopefully it's working out. Tell me how it is, by the way. I appreciate it, Yazzie. Duh, appreciate it. Oh, I'm going to also check in a minute. I'm gonna check in a minute about like the front-facing camera, because it's okay. My performance in the game can suffer, and I'm totally fine with that. I just need to make sure that like the front-facing camera is also like working in the way of which, you know, I would desire. Because unfortunately, I only had enough time to set up only one stream set. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Oh, that's a guy. Oh yes, I hear that. I'll try to let's see. If ads are frequent, then that means man, that sucks that it's frequent though. Could you send me a message on Discord, Raulu? I mean, sorry, Raulu, what? Yazzie, and then I'll and then after stream, I'll see what I can do about turning them down. I wanted to make sure that ads were frequent enough for me to at least have like enough gain to where I can maybe do something for stream sooner than later. But if it hurts the viewing experience, then that's not gonna work out for me, and I'm gonna need to like turn the ads down as much as I can. What sucks though is that actually Twitch added a certain like limit to the way that the ads like spawn out, and there is a basically what I'm saying is that they raised the minimum, which is really sad. You think the camera's going really good? Let me see. Oh, right, I have it covered up with chat, my bad. 1 second. Oh, I forgot I did that. Did that sound and makes me snooze.
why do I hear a lullaby?
Oh, that's because of, yeah. There we go. Dude. So yeah, oh wait, oh dear, what happened to my, oh dear. Oh no, did OVR Toolkit just, OVR Toolkit, no! Ah! I hope no one unfreezes me. Okay, at least that was natural. Man, oh no. OVR Toolkit definitely needs some upgrades.
I laughed so hard.
Cause, for some reason I think Toolkit just broke. And that's really sucks. I might have to take some time to fix that.
Sorry, I always free you.
Snazzy Man! Hello! Cosmic grief, and friends of mine are in disbelief. They can see what's underneath. Fluttery lashes with lips of pearly white teeth. Do you think Zero would work in this game? Probably. I think Zero's would work pretty well in this game. That's okay, no worries, Yazzie. It's all cool. I appreciate it. Oh, hi, PT Blue. How are you doing, buddy? Sorry, I'm fixing something right now. So, hopefully... If I restart OVR Toolkit, I might get it to work again. Okay, now that's doing that, so let me see if I can. That's right, okay. One of these over toolkit. It's now launching. My avatar, then I could refer you to the creator. Oh dear, what do you mean app running? The app's not running. Okay, then if it is, then that means I can exit it myself. Give me one moment, guys. I'm sorry. I need to take a moment to fix this. There we go. Now we can relaunch it. Good stuff. Is everything working on stream? Hopefully it launches back soon.
I've been sitting pretty much the whole game, but now my butt hurts,
Yes,
so
Warframe.
I should probably stand up.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Nice Warframe avatar. Oh, I'm sure I'll probably hear it work again soon, because by the way it launches up. And I'm going to turn on the thing that makes it scary for people that are on... Hello, you're cool. For people that are on, what do you call it? Are on PC, they'll definitely hear this. Oh no, I don't want to be on earmuff mode. Alright, here we go. Sorry.
Laser beams.
Sorry. I had to wiggle my arms to get you.
And we are back.
Hi, Shark.
Yeah, it's back. Thank you. Oh, VR Toolkit, thank you.
Oh, come on.
I think so. Yeah, Yazzie, I know what you mean, right? My back and says, while you're high, turn me on, do you turn me on? Turn me on, you turn me on, you turn me on. Turn me on, turn me
Poke
on.
your shoulders.
Oh gosh!
Give you a lunch, whether you like them or not.
Oh gosh! Look in my glass, there was no need for questions to be asked.
Sorry, you must
Oh
be
my! The tip with every beer, it's clear. So little time. There it is. Come on. Oh, it's because I don't have edit mode on. My bad. The night and it retreats the light.
Can't reach.
I thought you were about to say I can't read. I was about to lose it. Book it, y'all. Oh no. Taste, touch, and grab. I'm feeling cliche. Ticket or box. Oh my, Snazzy Man.
How you doing?
How are you? Oh
Okay,
no.
shoulder.
Yeah. Hello.
Sorry.
Thank you, of course. Wait. Oh, thank you. Creepers rise above. The cradle filled a crazy little surge of love of lies directed at you. Do you feel the same way too? Please tell me that you do, so we can love lust the whole night through. Oh my goodness! Oh dear! Oh my! Oh whoa!
It's me, the very, very mean laser sentry.
Dude, you freaked the head. Like literally, I turned the corner and then I just see you standing on that thing.
Give you very aggressive hugs.
Oh my! Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh my!
Will you like it or not?
You're all having a good time.
Oh wow, that's a lot of frozen people. Hug, hug. Free hug. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, heart attack! Good one! Oh my god! Whoa! Oh my! Oh my! Oh dear!
This is Trina. Poke.
You just call me a little nigga.
Oh nice! Wait, what? How did he not attack me? I went right through them!
Oh no.
I don't understand! Hello, Pikachu! Ah! Oh! Hello!
You have been poked.
Yeah. You have a handsome face.
Here, I gotta go.
Thank you. Goodbye. Ah. Oh, how is the camera, by the way? Like the one that's supposed to be pointed at my avatar? Oh gosh, I know how you feel, right? Thank you. I know exactly how you feel, buddy. Let's see here. Do 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 do. Oh no, that's right. I should have waited for that one. Nice. Hoo-wee. How's it going, everyone? I kind of wanted to like be able to talk and stuff like that. That's kind of why I decided to play this game. But it seems that not a lot of discussion. It's just that I'm really bad at picking out like a topic, you know. What happened to Soho? No. Reprobates go.
What kind of game is C-Real?
I hope I'm seen. Bye, bye, bye. Feel green. Oh no. What happened to Soho? Oh no.
Oh, God,
Where will
oh,
all
it
the
got me.
reprobates go?
I don't feel like standing up.
Oh, let me
to
check
move.
the. Oh, of course. It's because the Spotify's on top. Let's see here. Oh, I'm tiny enough to where that works. I'm gonna try to move my camera a little bit though. Is that better or worse? I think this could be good. Hello, Pikachu. Sorry, I'm fixing stream cam. Hi, Sunny Bull. How are you doing? Oh, and also thank you, Yazi. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm trying this stuff. Let's see. Let me get back to my regular avatar. Because I'm a runner this game. Oh my. I hit a wall. But I was also kind of loading, so I guess it's on me. My ping's pretty high because of this. Hi, Sunny. You got a cute ass little emote. Oh dear. Give me a second. VRC is doing a thing, so hopefully it'll fix itself in a moment. Let me hit it, and then it might work. Let me see, where's the... Yeah, let me just hit not responding, and then it might work once it starts up again. Hopefully no one unfreezes me. It's been a bit since this happened, but hi, Sunny! How are you? Hello, I hope you're all having a wonderful night. I heard glass break, but... Oh dear. It was working just fine a moment ago. Oh.
No, literally, I went earlier.
Okay, it's okay. I'm sorry. I should have run away, but honestly, like, I didn't have the... Oh, VRC, come on, we don't gotta fight. VRC, we're supposed to be friends here. Oh my, thank you guys. I appreciate it. There we go. I'm back. Hello, Pika. Pika slap. What happened to Soho? Oh no. Where will all the reprobates go? Oh no. What happened to Soho? Oh no. Where will all the reprobates go? Oh my.
And I bring it back in the room. And I make the bowl of cereal, and then I bring everything back out. And then I eat my cereal.
That cereal sounds good. Hello! I wonder if it can still detect my mic properly. I think it can, by the way that Yazi is, Also, thank you. I'm happy it's good, Yazi, you cute bean. Oh my. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh my, oh no, dear, oh heck.
I can't, like, bend down. One time I bent down and both my knees cracked and my ankle, but I was like...
My body reacts the same exact way. Oh my god. Oh gosh.
And her grandpa walks in, and he's like, because I...
Oh my, run!
I was like, oh yeah, let me check.
If I they own, if I know own. Thank you. Won't you lie, say down the moon, yeah. If I own, if I know oh, yeah. Oh my. Oh. VRC, we don't gotta fight. Okay. I was hoping to have the time to activate their avatar, but oopsie daisy. No, the line saying on bow, yeah. Thank you. Say on the entire no on. Say on the flow, yeah. Oh dear. Give me a second, I forgot. Let me try to make sure I have this in.
Teeth are. I don't know. They should.
A question for everyone in chat. What's your favorite kind of treat or dessert?
I just keep getting confused between Espeon and Umbreon.
Yeah. Maybe that's what happened to me.
Because, my favorite one is actually anything that involves chocolate mousse. I love chocolate mousse cake so much. Oh dear.
Let me get on the wall.
Hello there.
I might switch games here in a minute. Huh. Felt like I walked by somebody. Oh well. Sometimes when I wanna run away and hide, and there's no one on my side, and all of my pride has, thank you, disappeared. Oh my. Take it off my mind and leave it all behind. Nothing left to do but try to take the leap and follow through. And that's exactly what I'll do. Although to you I don't seem very strong. Show you before you can find me, I'm gone. Thank yous. To me you still got a chance.
You go fuck yourself, you
Hey, Pikachu.
Hello. Oh dear. Break his ankles. Break his little pink ankles.
Hey, I'm a Pokemon, you're a Pokemon. We can
Pulling
talk about
place to place. On top till I win the race. Oh hi. Oh my goodness. Hi. I didn't even see it because I didn't get alerted. Hi. What's going on, Krim? Thanks for the raid. How's it going, Krim? Oh my goodness. What's up? Sorry, I'm talking to chat. Goodness. Oh man, it's so good. Hi Raiders, how's it going? My name is sorry if you hear my dog up right now. It's probably because my roommate is either just came home or anyway, they love her. They love her. So she yeah. Okay, yeah. He's excited to go outside, so the dog's freaking out. Anyway, hi, how's it going, everyone? My name's TallTailsTales. I'm kind of a variety streamer, a little bit. I play a fair amount of Fortnite, and I'm just getting back into doing, like, VR chat streaming. I just finally got my PCVR back, so I'm super excited. Thank you for unfreezing me. How's it going? Let me take a look here. Okay, let's see here. Oh, hi, how's it going, guys? Yeah, okay, so, like, I want to ask every raider here, you know, kind of while I'm chatting it up for a second, what your favorite, treat or, like, dessert is, you know? Maybe a snack if you can't quite think of anything that you feel, fits in the other two categories. I see that Yazi says that, let's see, I'm not sure what my favorite is. It might be a really rich fuzzy chocolate cake. Oh my god, I agree with you. See, my favorite snagger like dessert is actually anything that involves like chocolate mousse. I love chocolate mousse so much. Oh, we had a chocolate mousse cake for my birthday. I should have just asked to make it fully mousse instead of like it just being like half mousse, half normal cake. But it was so good, you know? It was so good. Also, hi, Krim. No, you're so cute. Thank you. Hello. Flan or cheesecake. Boy, do I vibe with that sentiment. Hi, thank you very much, guys. Oh, my. Tap. And... Woo! Oh, my. Sorry, I'm playing Magic Freeze Tag, so we're kind of messing around. I wanted to change the game. This is the easiest one where I can like talk to people and still play. So And also, I also wanted to say, if anyone else plays VR chat, I'm happy to ever have any, like, lobbies where I kind of just, you know, even if it's just, like, a creator, you know, sort of thing, or whatever. I mean, like, you know, if you're here, just happy to play, you know, playing with viewers is kind of what I meant to say. Sorry, it's been a while since I've streamed. I'm just trying to get back in the headspace. Oh, goodness. Hello, DragonMan2832. Hello, Krim. Hello, Hints. I know two of you. Have you ever considered streaming Toontown? I have indeed considered streaming Toontown before. I actually really like Toontown Line, but you already know that, Yazora. I adore Toontown Ridden, so I'll probably stream that sometime too. You know, I can kind of imagine it might end up being mostly like missions and like jelly bean farming and stuff like that. Let me check my stuff here real quick. Oh, that's right. I should have checked my activity feed. My bad. I'm really bad at this. I need to get back into doing everything. Okay, cool. Awesome, awesome. I appreciate it. Also, thank you again, Krim, for rating. It's very sweet of you. Oh, gosh. Yeah, sorry. So if you heard that, that's Rocky. He's very excited. He gets excited a lot. He's a very active dog. He's a King German Shepherd. He's like, maybe say, let's see, about how long has it been? I'm gonna say, how long have we also been here? It's now August, so I'd probably say, let's see, back then, I think it's maybe been about 14 months since we got him, if I'm correct. So he's very, very adorable. And so, but you'll also hear him be really loud, even when there's nothing to really be loud about. He's just that kind of dog. So let's see, your laugh so cute. I'm melting. Oh, Karim. You cute boy. I'm actually one of those people that has said to have a plethora of laughs. I mean, like, it's usually just in pure reaction, but I guess I could try to turn them on if I did indeed attempt myself. Let's see, Oh no! Oh, Umbreon! Oh no! Okay, there it goes. Ah! Okay, let's see. Sorry about that, guys. My, Mousse parfaits, thank you so much. See, I already said that my favorite dessert is actually anything involving chocolate mousse. I love the fuck out of mousse. Not to mention, I love parfaits. And if anyone's seen me streaming Fortnite, you'll know that my alt account, oh dear, my alt account is Beersberry Parfait. And I really actually want to try some more parfaits in the future. I'm just not really good at making that kind of stuff. Let's see, definitely misspelled that. No worries, man. Honestly, I still, now, while I can spell parfait, I cannot spell mousse correctly to save my life. This is, also, hello there. Oh, what happened? Thank you very much. Oh, I'm just gonna hug this man. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, buddy. Oh, actually, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna, oh dear. Okay, I opened my menu. I'm gonna friend, oh. I'm so sorry. I put us in this situation. Thank you very much.
You're fine.
I think you're all beautiful. Goodbye. Oh no. Okay, well, hello. Now that I'm stuck here. You are a delight. Thank you very much, sir. He's so cool. I'm a pro at it. Dude, I know exactly how you feel. Oh well. Let's see here. Let me, oh, there's someone to be kicked? Why? I wonder if they're doing something wrong. Give me a second, if you would. I wonder who that person is. Huh, oh well. Let's see here. Oh, it was that one Mike fellow. I am fine with adding him as a friend. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, okay. Well, back to the frozen dungeon we go. Oh man, thank you very much. They're very fast, whoever they are. Oh, because they chose the smallest avatar imaginable. Okay, Jesus, then I'm wondering how that tall person is. Wow, you are running circles around this guy, like no matter what. I mean, he might eventually catch up to you, but all right. Oh, you tried to snap his ankles. I feel you. Thank you so much for unfreezing me a lot. Goodness gracious. Hi, I see that the foliage is in front of the camera. How's everyone doing? Let's see here. Why is your first person camera not working? Oh, is it not working now? Okay, thank you for telling me, Yazi. I appreciate it, Yazi. I'll try to fix that as soon as I can. Let's see here. It might mean that I have to just reset
I
the
feel like
tab
that's a
again.
bit overkill. They break your door open, so you shoot them with a shotgun and blow.
All right, it's currently. Oh dear. Oh my, what happened? Okay, wait. Oh, okay. Never mind. I guess I'll just sit here. My apologies, everyone. This will be solved in a jiffy. I believe that. Okay. Because of that, that means now that I can cast correctly. Anyway, how is everyone doing, by the way? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hello. Okay, so let's see here.
Just to tell you, there's a little boxy in front of you.
Oh, okay, understood. Oh, that's right. Okay, so give me a second. Oh, I hear you. Sorry, give me a second. Oh, yes, hello, I'm back. That's because actually on my side, oh dear, my apologies. But yeah, so so for Quest, it actually, Quest users, it shows like an advertisement in front of my face. It might be a way just to get them to, yeah, you can unfreeze that guy, that was pretty bad. It's cool. You should probably run. I'm gonna jet the other direction. You have fun. Might tag you later. Goodbye. Let's see here. Why is your okay? So did the first person camera end up working correctly?
Companies in business.
Hello, I love you guys. Icy hugs. Thank you very much. Let's see. I'm doing good, Yazi. I very much appreciate it. I hope everyone that stopped by the stream or is in the stream is having an absolutely lovely time. I'm kind of just freaking around. So that's one of the things about like being a streamer that makes it kind of hard is that I never know exactly what to talk about. So that's why that question is there. But then, you know, I usually talk about games and stuff or how I feel, you know, any reaction. Hello there, Ice Hero Zero. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Yes, my VR set is working. Hi, Mr. Big Bunny. It's so good to see you. I'm so happy that you guys are around. Hi, Mr. Big Bunny. I hope the art stream went absolutely delightful. I'm currently playing Magic Freeze Tag in VR. It's one of the only games that I think I can play that is still active, but I can still respond to chat. Especially in this way. Wow, I'm surprised I didn't hit that guy. They got some smooths. They got the fancy feet. Hello. Ah. Run. Oh no. I didn't see the other guy there. That's funny. I'm sorry. Alright. My goodness, how is everyone doing? Goodness me. I hope everyone in chat is having a lovely day. Thank you for the thank you Krim for the raid, and thank you Mr. Big Bun for the raid. I hope you guys are having an absolutely delightful evening. It's currently 11:58, so around maybe 12:30. Around let's see. Around oh my, I'm another runner now. Oh dear, gate. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, Ice Hero. This is actually a oh dear. I'll tell you something. You can talk for hours with no problem. You're doing fine. Thank you so very much. High five. Oh dear. Okay, back to the ice dungeon we go. Let's see here. Yes. Hi, Mr. Oh, I appreciate it, Mr. Big Bun. You're so wonderful. I love you to death, buddy. Let's see here. Yeah. Hi. Oh, is someone talking? They might have me. Oh, okay. Axel who? Oh, give me a second.
I don't even know who they are either.
Give me a second. Let me pull up my thing.
Yo, Axel, over here. Come here. Axel, over here. I need to tell you something.
Oh, weird. Sorry about that. Love. Oh my goodness. God, I still love your avatar. Oh, it's killing me. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Mr. Big Bun. Oh, I'm so happy to have your guys' company. Thank you, Ice Hero. It's the first time seeing a stream like this. Well, I'm so delighted that you get to actually experience mine for the first time, you know. Or this kind of, being the person to see in this sort of fashion is what I should have said. But, hello, yes, it looks cool. This is VR chat, right? VR chat is a very big social popular platform where you'll find people of all kinds. During a certain amount, Oh dear. Let's see. Hello, Trim. Swatted your tail? I appreciate it. Let me actually check the activity feed just so I can be sure. Oh dear. It's fine. And I'll just, it's okay if I get frozen. I don't mind. Let's see here. Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you, Dragon Man, to 2832 for following. Thank you, Jackal, for following. I appreciate it. I love you, buddy. Hi, Zero. Thank you for following. Okay. Thank you very much for unfreezing, my fine gentleman. Oh, that's someone I can unfreeze. Hello, sir. Let's see here. Oh, goodness. So, for the raiders that are just stepping in, I'd like to ask you all a question. What's your favorite, like, treat, snack, or kind of like dessert? You know, just in the case that any of those words don't really fit in the same category as the others. I just thought that'd be a good question to ask. Just clowning around. Oh, Jackal, do I feel you, buddy? Let's see here. My, if anyone wants to know mine, my favorite dessert is actually, oh man, I love chocolate mousse. I got a chocolate mousse cake for my birthday. I should have just asked for a full mousse cake. But it was my bad. I ended up choosing, 1/2 mousse and, well, wait a sec. It was mostly like 1/3, it was 1/3, normal cake and like 1/3 like mousse. And it was so good and I loved it. Oh, my husband is so sweet about making it. He's so wonderful. Anyway, I hope you're all having a delightful evening. I may switch from this game to something else, or just sit down and just, like, full chat so I can talk to anyone, you know, during that time. Thank you very much, sir. It's kind of weird. I think there might be someone using an invisible avatar, actually, sad face. Thank you very much. Just to make sure I can hide that next time, I'm gonna sit in this corner and check.
It was in Shelbyville.
Okay.
Yeah, it was more around.
Well, they weren't close. I could just end up spending a lot of my time in that corner doing nothing. Can't decide. Boy, Ice Hero, do I feel you. It's hard to decide what you like between a whole bunch of other treats. High five, guys. I'm gonna give you that boop. Oh my. No lie, Bam-a-lam, so rock steady. Bam-a-lam, she's always ready. Bam-a-lam, oh Black Betty. Bam-a-lam, oh Black Betty. Bam-a-lam. Woof. Oh man, it's been a while. Give me a second. Okay, we got 35 seconds on the clock. After this, I might step out, and then we can and then I'll maybe go to a I could just go to a normal chill out world, and we can just like all talk if you guys would love that. I'd be delighted to talk with everybody until I had to go. It's kind of unfortunate that I think I maybe either have 28 minutes left, or it really depends on if my husband feels like telling me to get off, you know. Goodness gracious. Bam-a-lam just makes me sing. Bam-a-lam, oh Black Betty. Bam-a-lam, oh Black Betty. Bam-a-lam. Good stuff. I hear you, Zora. I very much appreciate it. Oh, Jackal, did you decide your fave dessert? Or are you just kind of contemplating it?
Okay.
Of course. I think I might switch now. Okay. Oh my. I just got an alternative notification. Give me a second. An alt notification. I haven't had one like this in a while. Is that a group one or a... Oh, okay. No, that's a notification on how a different one showed up. Okay, that's fine. Alright. It's not easy. Boy, do I feel you, Jackal. It definitely is not easy. Let's see here. We can go to an ambiance world or a nice, like, hangout world. So, if anyone doesn't know, let's see. So, VR chat is one of those, hello there. I'm about to leave, but thank you very much for unfreezing me. Let's see here. So, VR chat is mostly like a world kind of composed for anything. So feel free to break copyright. Not music though, unless if you're on someone's stream, of course. But say if there's like people make different kinds of worlds and avatars of every sort of shape and size. As you can see here, you have a Freddy, a Beerus, Misfortune. There's so much stuff to see and do. And let's see, right here, like, of course, there's, like, Fairy Island from Legend of Zelda and Cafe LeBlanc for Persona 5, which I love. Oh, that's so wonderful, Big Bunny. I'm so happy to hear. Unfortunately, though, due to, if anyone doesn't know, so, of course, through any, social, through any, like, social app or game where your, microphone is used, through the Quest 2, unfortunately, when it's sent to the server, mostly through VR chat, but I think in general, but I think if it's an Oculus Quest 2 game, then it might not matter, because, everyone will most likely be having the same, type of, audio, delay. Oh, my apologies, give me a second. I need to, set my head down. This kind of happens every once in a while. It was worse, when I was in Quest, when I was playing VR chat on Quest, I had every single time I nearly crashed, I had to put my head down like I was in a bomb bunker. Also, thank you, Mr. Big Bun. I appreciate it, you sweetheart. So, like I was saying, there's a bunch of, yeah, there's a bunch of, different, worlds to, like, check out. One's made, directly from any type of, let's see here. I'm probably gonna jet. Which one, the Pikachu or me? Alright. Let's see here. Oh, I was asking who, that's all. Oh, hello, it's the Savior. Hi. Okay, so let's see here. I'll go to somewhere else real quick, just so we can kind of get out of here. Oh, as you can see, there's a tour cafe as well. So basically anyone can make any type of a world or avatar that they would like using Unity. In placing it through, a lot of people will have to end up using Blader for any kind of like Blender for any kind of shaders or stuff like that. I'm going to transition to a, thank you very much, my good sir. Keep running, don't come around for me the second time. I hope you'll have a good day. I'm gonna go, guys. Bye. Oh dear. Goodness me. My apologies. Ooh, ad breaks. Into me higher. Open fire. Hey. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, okay. And welcome back, everyone. How's it going? My deepest apologies. I've been told that my ads are a little too frequent, and that's okay. I said it during a time where kind of the money was kind of important, unfortunately. It's fine, though. It's not anymore at the current moment. I actually need to change it back. But one of the issues that I think revolving around ads on Twitch is actually, let's see, if I remember correctly, about a month or few ago, they actually raised the minimum like required amount of ads that you have to run, and I think it ended up slamming a lot. You don't think they're bad now? Well, that's good. That's good. I'm so happy to hear then. Then that must have mean that something in the system must have adapted back. But anyway, hi. Yeah, okay. So anyway, in the case that you guys were, case that no one heard the rest of my spiel about the Quest 2 mics, so in the way that they're encoded to be received by games, and especially ones with big servers, there is usually a 1 to 2 second delay. I believe it's a 2 second delay. So you'll end up finding yourself and other Quest users accidentally, what do you call that? Accidentally talking over each other, which is very and highly unfortunate, which is quite sad. But that's okay. You just, you know, as long as like they know, then everything's fine. But anyway, hi. I hope everyone's having an absolutely delightful night. My apologies if I'm talking a little bit too much. Oh, okay. The ads and the music. Oh, okay. Then yes. All right. Well, then yeah. The minimum required ads on Twitch is pretty bad. I actually okay. So what the issue with the music right now, is that I can't really. Okay. So I knew before how to mute it immediately. What I was going to do was just turn around and hit the button and just hit it again, like as a toggle, like so that I could silence it. We would be without music until the ad was finished, and I would still hear the ad, but at least you guys wouldn't, you know. But anyway, my apologies. I'm probably gabbing on a little bit too much, but I'm actually really happy that the mic quality does sound a lot more clear. Sorry about it. So due to the high CPU usage and some of the worlds, I initialize into worlds a little slow, so perhaps any type of event may be like a little stuttered, but it's okay. I'm currently connecting to this one. This one is an After Dark Plaza, which is has a inventory system, functional games of their own, and a movie theater. My favorite part of the After Dark Plaza is actually kind of the skating parts that are around just in the plaza area, which is quite unfortunate. It would be really cool, but if you guys don't know, there is also a full Jet Set Radio world where you can kind of ride on the rails, you know, and stuff like that, and it's really fun. I'm not really good at it though, if I'm going to be quite honest. Currently joining, and I'm also going to lag a little bit once I fully join though too, due to kind of the capacity of the world. It's a little complicated, but I did want to show it on stream because I love it a lot. I haven't gone here in a while though, but I do exactly remember what it's like. But if they update it, well then that's surprised. That also means that I get to show you the music system that they have running in here. It has a lot of tracks involving people like Ken Ashcorp, which is a lovely furry artist. If you all haven't heard, he's actually one of those people that I do believe actually did give the green light on using his music during your streams. Let's see here, as well as the lovely sound, one of the lovely Scott Pilgrim soundtrack from the band Tamaguchi. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World soundtrack, the game is what I meant. My apologies. Yeah, from Tamaguchi, and they're an absolutely wonderful, delightful band. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if, in the case that VR kind of just wonking out in general. Oh, I must be back in. All right, give me a second. Oh dear. Give me 1 moment, if you all wouldn't mind. Oh dear. Okay, I think it's all right. Let me I need to wait for my switch to VR. Thank you very much. I have to wait for my vision to come back for me to do anything. Okay, so it's currently glitching out, and I'm sure it's trying to correct itself. But besides that, it looks like the starting area has changed, definitely. Instead of being at the very start of a subway system, instead now that we are at the train railway. Give it 1 moment, everyone. I'm waiting for me to load in as well. I'm actually going to use this time. Oh, give me a second. I have to wait for VR chat to work. That probably also means it's trying to load my avatar along with the world, so it's going to be stuttered for a moment. This happens with some high-intensity worlds, but I don't have as good as a PC to like handle it as much, which is quite unfortunate. My apologies. You're not seeing anything from my stream cam right now as my avatar is trying to load. Give me a second. Virtual desktop's kind of being a little buggy, if that's all right with everyone. VRC, you never surprise me, or at least never failed to surprise me, I mean. Give me a second, everyone. I think my face is finally... Oh, there we go. How's it going, everyone? Oh dear, did OVR Toolkit break again? This sucks. Okay, so as you can see, everything in this world so far right now looks very, kind of like PS1 blocky-ish. Oh, here it is. There we go. That world is pretty cool. I remember when APGET shared it with me, of course. Well, thank you, Zora. I hope everyone is having an absolutely delightful night, including the lovely... Oh, I probably should have said, actually. I I was a little distracted because I was surrounded by people. But if you all haven't checked it out, or checked them out, I must say, please absolutely check out Mr. Big Bunny and Jackal9. Jackal doesn't stream yet. Jackal, are you gonna stream? I sure hope so, you cute bean. But please check out Mr. Big Bunny's streams. Oh? Oh, that's a joke. Oh, announcer has a joke apparently. But hi, so Mr. Big Bunny streams, you know, art, Fortnite, like Final Fantasy. They're a little bit of a variety streamer, but honestly, they have a lot of focuses, like those games, especially horror games. Oh, they love retro stuff too, if I'm not mistaken. So as well, I should have said for everyone to also check out Crim Lionheart. He's such a nice guy. Oh, if I'm gonna say anything else, oh, Flippin' Moniker. Oh, he's so cool. Okay, so I haven't been here before, but it seems that this person is a big fan. If anyone can see my first person view here of avatars. As you can see, Protogen specifically, and Avali, it looks like. Anything involving, let's see. So I haven't been to this location before. This was new to me. This makes me want to go back into VR chat. Oh, buddy, do I hear you? Hi, Sunny. I'm so happy you're here. I think I forgot to mention, I hope you're having a delightful night as well. You're so cool, buddy. After Dark Plaza's that way? Wow. Oh, these are a lot of avatars I haven't seen before. Jitterbot, Cover Cat, Mystery Fox. Oh, Coffee Bandit. So cute. So, I want to let you know that my PC's going to have a little bit of a trouble handling this because it's a high intensity world, but I really wanted to show it. Oh, right. Give me a second. Okay, I'm going to turn my playlist off from Spotify. I'm going to give it a pause. If it would let me, please give it. Okay, there we go. So, I should probably start out by actually demonstrating. Oh, give me a second. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Now, how again did you pull out your phone in this world? There we go. It's actually a disc player. Very retro. So it's pretty cool. I like that they actually decide to use this display for who's here, their tokens, the leaderboard, who and where people are, the tokens that you can currently save via codes, like how VR Ruby Remnant has a code for it as well to load your certain weapons. And by the way, I love that game. Let's see here. Let's see. Here's the music player. Not to mention they have a fast travel system, which is really cool. So look at all of these. Look at all of these, like OSTs and playlists and like original artists that they have in here. So they have Mystery Skulls. You can't go wrong with Mystery Skulls. Here's Ken Ashcorp. Love him so much. He's so cool. Let me does he Absolute Territory? Yes. Oh, wait a sec. Rival is a Pokemon based one. I wonder if Absolute Territory. It's loading currently. So I'm gonna grab my thing. I'm gonna shut it off while it loads. Yeah, and I tossed it behind and it had that cute ass sound. Now playing Absolute Territory by Ken Ashcorp. I love Ken's stuff. Woo! Jump, right? Sunny spotted. She's got a fetish for fine art. A pair of knee socks and an oversized sweatshirt. Yeah, she goes right to my heart. Oh. She comes a knocking with a stocking and I get her. It's got the feeling I'm in deep. Neutral waters, but they're only thigh high. This kind of girl don't get no sleep. But yeah, I totally hear you, Sonny, about wanting to get on VR chat. Unfortunately, it's one of those platforms that are so much better with a headset. And if you want to play by standalone, unfortunately it's limited. At least Quest 2 has standalone on it programmed. And so Unfortunately, they have a lot of crashes and a lot of issues, which is really sad alongside a lot of the content being certain avatars and certain worlds being restricted. But if you try it, you can do desktop mode without the hands and stuff like that. But if you're very fortunate and you have a really good gaming PC, or one that can just happen to handle it. Thankfully, mine can handle it to some degree. As you can see, I do load in pretty slow. But I'm able to use the Quest 2 headset through virtual desktop, through Steam VR. And I'm able to access worlds like this one. The lovely, beautiful, vibrant worlds. Oh, I love it. Now maybe I could play... Yeah, Pokemon? Yeah, here. So you heard that sound? That's from Pokemon, if I do agree. And also... Oh. Yeah, see, you heard that one. Abba. Hello, Jordan Lee. Oh my god, Jordan, how are you doing? It's so good to see you, buddy. As you can see, I'm streaming for the first time in a long while on VR chat. It's been quite a time. Let me go somewhere else where the music won't be so loud. I also... Can you guys tell me how the music is in the world? Like, is it just far too loud in general? Oh dear, give me a second. If I put my head down, usually it won't do as bad. And it gets me back in place. There we go. Alright. Let me turn the music volume down on the music player. More manslaughter than the third impact, yeah. Strutting in that beat. Do not know it's hard. This kind of girl just can't be beat. It's in your air. You take off your clothes. Anyway, so I actually have some friends, or at least one, I know that, that commonly uses VR chat and still use in desktop mode. And a lot of people can still have a lot of fun in desktop mode because, you know, sometimes this is where their friends are. And oh my god, I just realized, no tokens? No tokens! No tokens! Oh god. VRC, RP, jobs, guns, money, real gameplay systems. Haven't seen that yet. Oh, that must be what they used to make this work. Doors being my worst enemy as always. Oh, isn't that right, Bunny? For heaven's sakes, of course. The loading. Oh god. I am, well, just chilling a bit and preparing for things. I want to see those world codes to explore. Okay, I hear you. I don't know how to do that immediately. Sounds fine to me. Thank you very much, Izora. I deeply appreciate it. And once again, oh, while everyone is here, may I ask a question? So I don't know how frequently I'm on, and how frequently I stream. I'm definitely trying to get back into the kick of it. I'm just struggling a lot, hitting go live with a lot of nerves, and whether how long I stream or how much energy I have, stuff like that. As well as trying to once again fancy up my etiquette as well, and the attitude that I do my best to use while I'm in here. Give me one moment. Of course. So world codes. Let's see. Oh, perhaps they're on the menu. Yeah, sorry. It'll do this when I'm trying to do too much. I imagine that this will be frequent when I'm on VR chat streaming from my computer until we have better internet. That, and also perhaps my PC may need a clean or two. Give it just a moment, if you would. Let me see if I can also put my head down and see if that works. Slightly. It seems to be working slightly. Oh. Okay. World code. World code. Ugh, that's unfortunate. I don't think they show that the world code on here. Okay. What you can know is that I'm 100% certain that the After Dark Plaza is never going to be erased. That's for sure. Coffee Bandit VRC is the creator. I would go to view on website, but then that's just going to open another tab, and it's going to be a big issue, unfortunately. Where did my cam go? Is it behind my menu? It might be. Let's see here. Okay, so what I can promise, in the fact, I'm so sorry, Sunny, if I can't really seem to get the code. Let's see. I've given that information, and I would like you to know that so I do in fact have a stream archive channel up, and I do plan to start downloading the streams and then placing them onto that archive. So in the case, like right now, you can check how long the stream has been going. Left about to control, replace soon. Understood. Okay, you can check the stream archive under this date, of course. It'll probably have a similar name to what's being done right now. I also post the original title of this very stream inside it in the description, so you'll always be able to know which one, and then you can go exactly to the point in this stream that you'll be able to see it, so you can always know, remember, what exactly the world is. Though you can also just check on the VRC site that accessible by browser, and you'll be able to see them. Give me 1 second. Glad you managed to do it. Thank you very much, Izora. Yazi, I have a lot of trouble hitting live. It's a big issue for me. It's so much easier going just because. Oh man. I'll try not to think about it. All good. Thank you very much, Sunny. I appreciate you. I know you can get back into the swing of things. Thank you, Yazi. Your support means everything to me. And thank you so much for rating me, Big Bunny. Thank you so much for rating me, Crim, too, if any of you are still around. I would like to... God, this is still loud. Give me a second. Thank you. Okay, so, in the case that anyone is interested, while I've been having a lot of trouble streaming a lot, I actually would like to know if anyone would be interested in modding for, my channel. I, could use someone. You don't even have, I'm not even going to be on you about being here either on time or on here at all. You know, just in the case that you would like to watch too, and you'd be up for moderating chat like a little bit, I'd be totally happy with that. I have no problems regarding it. I just need to have one or few people there, you know? I'm not saying, when I'm saying one or few people, I don't mean as in one person here at all times while I'm streaming, no. I'm just saying it would be nice to have a mod or two around, not that you have to be around, you know? I hope that you're all having an absolutely lovely day, and I'll never be on you about being a mod, okay? So I just want to let you know that this is a low commitment offer. It's like, I'm just proud of you for pushing through it. Thank you, Yazi. I always have such big anxiety when it comes to social and stream stuff, I do imagine, but I've been doing my best to push through it at every step of the way. Thank you so much, Crim, again, I appreciate the emotes, you sweetheart. You guys are all so wonderful. May I ask if there's anything that you guys may be interested in learning about VR chat, or perhaps any games that you may like to see? If anyone is interested in any kind of D&D, like VR party, stuff like that, I actually know a game or two that's actually somewhat like that. There are worlds to play D&D on a board yourself with your friends, or there is also the kind of one that is like actual action, where you're on an adventure and playing like D&D classes. Because, one of my favorites is Udon Sword and Udon Sword 2. The difference between Udon Sword and Udon Sword 2 is actually the Samurai class. Yes, you are correct. The class is actually directed specifically off of the Final Fantasy classes. So you have your healer, you have your samurai, you have your archer, and you have your... what was the other one? Tank, of course, your tank. So you're knight, kind of like that. I'm going to check behind me real quick. No, you're wonderful, Yazi. I deeply appreciate it. I'm gonna check this real quick. Okay, I just wanted to make sure if I was still on cam. My apologies. I should probably actually be, VRC seems to be having an issue. Give it a moment. Maybe it can't deal with not being the center of attention. If you all don't mind, give me one moment. Oh goodness me.
I see.
Oh well. I suppose that's gonna have to be it for now, because VRC is being an issue. That's my dog, if you guys didn't know. He loves barking. He's a sweet lad. He's also very, very big and a very vocal breed. So I don't really know if I can do anything about it. Goodness gracious, what time is it? 12:30. My husband's probably gonna be home about any minute now, and I may or may not have to get off. Anyway, so, let's see how it's doing. Okay, I'm a little bit closer, but I hope you all are having an absolutely lovely day. I want to let you know that I love and appreciate you all, and I'm just really happy that you guys stopped by. Feel free to know that you don't have to stay, and feel free to just have me as background noise too. There's no reason to have to, like, you know, give feedback or anything like that. Though I do worry that, I'm one of those streamers that's pretty nervous and anxious, so not having something to talk about it since I'm really bad at this stuff. Also, not to mention, I just see up there, Surf by Hyper Potions. Hyper Potion is also one of those very nice, creator-friendly type, artists. Am I right in... Fluttershy is in an insane asylum right here, if you can't see. I don't know why they have her like that. Also... Oh my god. Oh no, I couldn't see what it said. But as you see, there's a lot of stuff on here. Oh, look here. This nice commission stuff. Cryptus commission corner. It looks great. Let me make sure that we're still doing it right. Alright, I'm still doing it right. Good, good, good. Staying. Aww. You're so sweet, Krim. I deeply appreciate it. You're wonderful. No, you're wonderful, Yazi, and I appreciate you every step of the way. I just want to let you all know that I love you. Feel free, like, to go if you really do wish. I just wanted to let you all know that I all appreciate you so very deeply, and I have a deep love for you all. And I also would like to thank Big Bunny, Flippant, and everyone else for just kind of letting me stay around and be a friend and play games with them and stuff like that, because I really enjoyed myself. I haven't been able to have that much fun in a fair amount of time, I must say. And it's been a time, and it sucks because my computer can't really run or stream that very well. But I'm really happy that things are going alright right now. My husband's probably gonna be home any time now. Thank you for those emotes, you sweetheart. Oh, goodness. Anyway, so let's see here. Oh, I see that there is visual feedback in this world. Oh, not visual, my apologies. Auditory feedback. It's kind of cool that they do it when you step. It's a big room, guys. It's a big room. There's the pool! There's the pool! Give me a second. Look at the place! This is VR chat, guys. This is VR chat with the power of like PC, of like a PC that can like run it, at least in some sort of capacity. Look at all the vibrant colors and all the things you get to experience. Not to mention, I mean, imagine being close up, man. Imagine being close up with all this stuff, you know? With VR and everything. It's really life-changing to some degree, I can imagine. Oh, look, there's an NPC over there. Give me a second. Let's go over there real quick.
If you see jitters, can you tell her that I'm going on my lunch? Tell her that I'm going on my lunch?
I guess their voice clip played twice. I appreciate your company. Nice to meet you, sir. Let's see here. Oh, these lights. The Anomaly Lounge? Oh! Oh my. She didn't seem very nice about saying that. A little skew. I love that the Anomaly Lounge. Oh, and there's a play. You can just be in the water and be at the bar. You can be in the water and be at the bar. Oh my goodness, guys. That's so cool. Oh, that reminds me. Give a second. Let me Oh, well, thank you guys so much for just existing, you know? Oh. Mwah. You sweet goodness. You're so sweet. I'm happy for you and hope things go better from here on out. I deeply hope so too, Yuzora. Really wanted to get a job, but stuff was really rough, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm not one of those people that's really cut out for like a good one. I would need like a remote job or something. I wanted to be a librarian, but then they just said to me, who's gonna take care of the dogs? And I'm like, fuck, you're right. And then they tell me later, oh, fucking, they were like, we never said that, or like, you could have just done it anyway, or whatever. I feel so weird. And I wonder if I could not being, I don't know, Corinne. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Gosh. Oh, goodness. I'm so sorry. Please apologize for what you're about to hear. Sad to spin my trash can. I'm so very sorry. Oh, dear. Hi. Oh, Krim. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so big. 5 tier 1 subs for the community. Thank you so very much. Oh, to so many people, too. Oh, people that I know and care for so delightfully. Give me a second. I'm gonna wait for that loading to, like, get a little bit smaller. There we go. To Mr. Thank you, giving it to Mr. Big Bunny and Jackal and Jordan and Zook. And, you know what, guys? I'm so sorry. That was impolite of me. IRL, I was spitting into my trash can. So it's come to the part where I've come to that age where now I kind of just have old man cough, which is unfortunate, I must say, of course, absolutely. Also, Brian Hart, such a sweetie, thank you guys. Not to mention, if anyone hasn't checked, guys, please check out Jordan Lee. He's actually one of my good friends that I had even before I started streaming. Also during a one of my first friends that I actually made during a very unfortunate odyssey that I happened to go through during one of my starts as a VR chat user involving a very unfriendly, not good person. And Crazy Gamer Mike and my other friends like Fire Ash, they helped me through it. And it was a very toxic time, so I'm very happy that, so they were great, but the person that we were following is not a good person. And I'm really happy that I was able to keep them through everything. And it just makes me so happy to get to have my friends, you know, again, and get to talk to them and such. I hope that Crazy Gamer Mike comes back on. He's a very good person. I'm just happy to see you happy. Thank you so very much, Yazzie. I appreciate it. And also, once again, thank you, Crim Lionheart, for all the subs. If you guys don't know, so Crim Lionheart, if I believe, is just starting out streaming. They've been streaming a lot of games. They're using a PNG tuber, like I have for like quite a fair amount of time, as I can run animes with certain games as well as because my PC is quite demanding. I also haven't been using animes because, unfortunately, during the move that we had to this new apartment, which I'm in, it was quite some months ago when we moved, my camera actually broke in the process. The camera's, okay, it's more like, I can't say whether the camera's good, but I do know that the stand is broken, and I might just have to super glue it. And then I can just move the camera, and then maybe it might work out. Who knows? Who knows? It could work out. Who knows? But I'm gonna see what I can do about that at some point in the case that I do, in fact, find it again. I would actually like to implore that you guys, glad you still have your friend. Thank you very much. I have my friends. Thank you, Yossi. And I'm so glad that for this new chapter in life, and I've been trying to get on about my day, that I have so many new friends like Big Bunny and Jackal and Flippin' and Grim. And oh, I love Brian so much. He's so cool. Jordan Lee is a very old friend of mine. He's a wonderful, fantastic person. I don't know if they're still streaming that much anymore, but I would also like to ask you guys if you could check on Nicky Fox. I don't believe he has any numbers in his name. Nicky Fox, I know Versely doesn't stream anymore, which is quite unfortunate, but they're a lovely couple, Nicky and Versely. They're so wonderful and such wonderful, amazing people, and have also been very supportive to me during the time when I'm not even, where I haven't been streaming or haven't been checking out anyone's streams. They've just been, you know, very nice to me. And Yazzie is how I met Nicky and how I met Yazorist right here is through Nicky and Versely. Very wonderful people. So is Yazzie. He's a sweet, wonderful person. You deserve good friends. You're a lovely friend yourself. Thank you so much, Yazzie. It means so much to me. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna check and see how the stream output is doing. So you don't think that I'm a little bit too close to like the you don't think I'm a little bit too close to the thing here, do you? Am I too close to it? Because I need to know. Am I too close to, like, the first-person point of view? I'm just checking. Thank you very much, Krim. Oh, so sweet. Oh, the hearts. Nikki Fox Uwu, that's correct. Thank you so very much, Yazzie, for setting that one straight. I'm not really good at remembering all this stuff, as you may know. Also, so my fit is a little different, as you can see. So I'm not, I've been wearing this lately. I used to actually, oops, Daisy. I forgot, yes. Yes, of course, stay on this side of the camera. I actually, let's see. Oh man, did they not add the... No, they still didn't put the hat back. That's very sad. That hat was very important to me. So, you can see, during, old, stream archive, bits, if you go on to, YouTube and see my stream archive ones. So, back then, you may have been able to see me with a, my hat, you know? And what I would do is, since, when you went like this, it would then go in your hand. So I would do this. And roll with it, and bow, and then roll back up, and like grasp and put it back on my head. And it was so cute, and it was my favorite thing to do, and it feels bad that, because this was the original avatar, but they just got rid of it completely. I can show you the rest of the outfit that I used during that time, though. I don't think all the parts are there, but I think it's better now. So these pants are exactly the same, and from them. Well, not exactly the same. So let's see here. Oh, did they fix the thing with the shirt? That's so cool. Oh, I don't have the chest fluff sticking on my shirt anymore. Let's see here. So this is how I usually would look. Oh, let me get out of the water here. My bad. This is how I usually would look. But as you can see, if anyone sees my profile icon, there's a hat in it. And that hat is what I'd usually use to bow and stuff like that. You know, and then slap back on. It was really cute and adorable. I wonder if someday maybe I could just maybe I could be brave enough just to oh man, there's still a little bit of chest fluff sticking through. I wonder if you can get rid of that. Is that possible? Toes in, curls in, tail controls. Nope, doesn't seem so. Quite unfortunate. Oh well. Anyway. Oops, daisy. So anyway, let's see here. It's fine, but maybe you should be a bit further away from the first person one. Oh dear, you're quite correct. What if I'm sure this would work. Is that good? Does that look good, guys? Hopefully so. I can also... Oh dear, that's right. My bad. Okay, so what I was going to do was I have another scene in the set, in the scene set, that has it so that it's actually smaller. The first person. I didn't know how much I was going to use it. I just needed first person in the case I did any other big games that would happen to use my first person. I also have the inverse, where it's like first person is what you see big, and the stream camera is what you see small. So that you could like see and get on the ones that are action... oh dear. That are action based and would require where a lot of the action and all of like the good pieces are going to be seen through the first person view. Close to the top of the third person camera. How about that? Does that work, buddy? Oh, I know what you mean. I trust me. I know. I feel what you feel there, buddy. Goodness gracious. Oh man. We should probably head somewhere else. Would anyone like to see a game I'm very fond of? Though, I must say, my husband's probably going to be home soon. If he wants me to get off, then I'll have to get off. He is making dinner tonight, which is going to be wonderful. I know it involves, like, chicken, so it might have to do something with that honey mustard dressing I love so much. Give me a second. There's also some morbid games in here. Like, what do you call it? So, oh yeah. So, there's, I haven't tried this world yet, but I did save it. Pokemon Masters, where you can use, people can use their avatars to battle it out as if it's a Pokemon battle. There's also Magic Arenas that was made. Instagib Tournament is a lot like Unreal Tournament, if anyone's played those games. There's also Steel and Gold, very cute. Prison Escape, it's going to be one of those more chatty yet still ones. I go to furry karaoke a lot. It's, I enjoy doing it. I mostly do it off stream, but I'll probably will do it on stream at some point. Though I might mute the whole VOD, unfortunately. Just might have to occur due to a bunch of copyright stuff. Because it does play the music in-game, as well as show the lyrics and stuff like that. Let's see here. There's also Gundam Down VR, which is a lot like a World War II game. There's so many games here. There's also Let's Struggle. So Let's Struggle is also based on the Kingdom Hearts 2 game. Like at the very start of the game, it has one of my favorite sections where you played in the Struggle Tournament as Roxas versus a lot of other people. And I actually really like that that they eventually adapted it. Someone adapted it into a game because they were a fan enough of it. And I wondered if it was ever gonna happen. I thought that maybe one day I was just gonna have to learn Unity and do it myself. But I'm so glad that it's in. It's actually not that bad. I was just playing Magic Freeze Tag a time ago. Fate of the Herb Loss is a big game. That is about, you could last anywhere from the time you die to 4 hours. Believe it or not. It's a very big cooperative game with all your friends, and I hope to stream it sometime. There's also Remnant VR Veil. So, it's based off the series Ruby, which I'm a very big fan of. Unfortunately, it did go downhill after Season 3, I must say. But that's due to the writers. And also, unfortunately, Monty Ohm's very unfortunate passing by some sort of cancer. I happen to forget, unfortunately. But Monty Ohm was a very good person who knew style, who could animate action at such an unique and excellent level. I would like to ask you guys if you could check out either the early scenes of Ruby's, or if you could, his action-only series that happened before his passing. It was called, what was it? Maybe it was something like Final Fight Fantasy or something fantasy. What was it? It was Dead Fantasy, that's right. It had to do with a lot of Dead or Alive characters and Final Fantasy, and it was mostly just fights. Whatever game you want to share. Okay, so before I do that, The Concept of Love from the Jet Set Radio OST is playing right now in the world. I love the song. Jet Set Radio is quite an amazing game, if anyone doesn't know. Was released originally on the Xbox, the original Xbox, believe it or not. And God, I love this song. Okay. Laserdome, I must say. So I'm not gonna go into Laserdome. You need more people for that. But I wanted to let you know it's made by Xerix, who is also making another. Who's made Fate of the Herb Loss. He's a very ambitious and wonderful, wonderful person. He's a very awesome creator. He's currently making Duo Beat, which is set to release sometime soon. Or in the next month or few. It's okay, I don't want to make any promises, so none of those are promises, just know that. He's a very wonderful person, I must say. So let's see here. I want to show Udon Sword 2. Which is, the action RPG-ish one. Does it look behind me? I know, right? My apologies. Thank you so much, again, Krim, for giving Jaggle and all of them a gift sub. It's so cool. I really wish that I had the, emotes to make it totally worth it for everyone, but I don't have the money to either buy one, and I don't have the experience to create my own. It would take a lot of practice with art and drawing, and I'm a shitty artist, if I'm gonna be real with you. Maybe someday. Let's see. I'm waiting for VRC to behave and start loading the next world. I'm gonna pull up my, let's see here. Oh, okay, well, while that's loading, I'm going to go and grab another, battery for my left controller. It just died. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot more batteries. I may have to ask for some soon. I'll be right back, everyone. Hopefully this loads during the meantime. Oh dear. Oh my. Please say that. Oh, it's here. Okay, good. Good. Just a moment, everyone. VRC should start working soon. It is, of course, buffing out its mind right now, but it's okay. Give me 1 second, if you may. There we go. Put that in there. Grab a new battery. Ooh, it's good. VR chat is starting to work itself up again. I'm surprised my husband isn't back. he might be going to grab some weed, which is legal in our state. There we go. There's the second one back. Oh, here it goes. Okay, so we're starting to load, which is great. I hope everyone's having an absolutely delightful night. I would also thank you all again for coming by and like being here. Of course, feel free not to stay if you would not wish so. But I'd like to thank you all so much for watching or passing by, even giving a passing hi, or even lurking whenever you would like. It means so much to me that people, like, care enough to come by, and of course. Goodness gracious. Let me make sure that OBS is acting in an appropriate manner. I'm going to turn the music back on. Oh dear. OBS. Oh, correct. Maybe I shouldn't be trying to mess with OBS while VR chat's doing its thing. Ah, yes, of course. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm sure you're not as bad as you think you are. Thank you. I pretty much appreciate it, Yazi. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. That must mean that something's happening with the in-game chat system. So it's a little bugged out. I got a gift. Yes, Jordan, you got a gift sub from Krim Lionheart, who's a very sweet bean. Let's see here. Take your time. Thank you, Yazi. I deeply appreciate it. Hello, Robert. It's nice to see you again. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Glad to be here, buddy. Thank you so very much, Yazi. You're a wonderful bean. Okay. Things seem to be going all right. I'm connecting in-game. Oopsie daisy. My bad. Oh my. Oh dear. Cannot join instance? What happened? I've only seen that prompt once before in my life. It also loaded me improperly, so that might have been the reason that it stopped. Yeah, I was trying to do that weird thing with my vision. I wonder what it was. I would like for it not to do that again, because I've never seen that before, and it's kind of scary. Give me one moment. I'm going to see what I can... Oh, wait a sec. Let it load first, and then I'll check and make sure that things are doing all right. Oh, of course. Try using a menu, load into a different world, close VR chat, and restart it. Oh dear. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is go back to my, let's see, what did I set? I set something as my home world. Actually, give me 1 second. I think I know where to go. And then I'll set that as my starter. Because it's actually my favorite, it's actually one of my favorite worlds, and I had as my home world for a long time when PCVR worked a little bit more properly. Also, hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful night. My apologies, I'm setting things correctly as they should be. It may be just a moment before we get to the game, and I hope I don't have to get off by the time that happens. I'm kind of wondering why my husband isn't home yet. Huh. Maybe he's out shopping for groceries or something. Where is the proper Destiny Islands? Because I remember being there. I'll know it when I see it. Season 3. Looking for Kingdom Hearts 3 Destiny Islands. Okay. Oh, we're still loading. We are still loading more. Okay. So I'm going to imagine there's not much left after that. So let me check. Is the first Kingdom Hearts? That's the first Kingdom Hearts. Oh, that reminds me. I'll know which one it is by the size. That's correct. That's correct. That is indeed correct. Not that one, not that one, not that one. Definitely not that one. No, unfortunately not. Oh, and it actually might be this one. Yep. That should be the one if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to, due to the Twitch thing being a little bit woof. Okay. Thank you. You're wonderful being yourself. Oh, I hope you can like it. You can stream sometime. Would you like to hear it? Yes, I would. I would definitely love to. Also, thank you, Yazi. Give me a second. I'll just fix my back. Oh, if anyone heard that. Oh, that reminds me. Oh dear, I should have actually put my redeems back up. So the only ones that I could come up with myself that I believed were like good, like actually good, I believed was or at least something that I could do myself. I indeed give me 1 second. I'm going to get rid of my Twitch attachment. I'm going to go to my Twitch channel, and then I'm going to pop up my chat, and then I'm going to destroy the tab so that I can keep the chat. This is looking a lot like it. Yep, this is Destiny Islands. Give me 1 second, though, if you guys would not mind. You all are completely delightful. Thank you so much for coming along. Let's see here. Nope, do not want to pop out player. I do want to pop out chat, though. There it is. Now, there it is. Yes! Now let me, really quick, drag that out. I mean, you know what? It's something I could be interested in. I would need for it to be displayed to me first, so I mean, of course, I'd be happy to do that at some point. Now let me just add this up, and now let me center myself, as I should be. Add a little bit. Hello there, how's it going? Oh, there we are. Okay, cool. Real quick, I'm just gonna take a small tour through Destiny Islands. It's a really cool place. This is my homeworld for a long time. I loved going into the water a lot. There's a mirror down there, if I do believe, where you usually fought Waka, Sally, and Titus. I remember it being in the shape of a Powfu fruit or a Keyblade, but it seems that it isn't here anymore. Perhaps they've moved the mirror. It probably is in a better spot now anyway. Let me turn the world volume up. Oh, it is already all the way up. Huh, strange. Okay. Alright, so let's go to the place that we were meant to go through in the first place. Udon Sword. Udon Sword. Oh, correct. Give me 1 moment, if you guys do not mind. I'm going to hit play on Spotify if it works. Recognize myself when I feel I've been replaced. Oh, I can feel the kick down in my soul. It's pulling me back to earth, let me know. The dark can pull me from the grave, 'cause I still feel alive. And it's hopeless, no, I start to notice I still feel alive. Let me get into Udon Sword first so I don't break multiple things. There we go. Now let my avatar load. I just don't want to kill my PC doing this stuff, you know? One of the things I love about this world most of all is that while they have so they have like music for every boss fight and just traveling your way there. But you can turn it all the way down and just listen to your Spotify. A dark can pull me from the grave, 'cause I still feel it. And it's hopeless, I start to notice. Oh, I still feel it. Oh, one of my favorite things. Okay, 1 sec. That's it's synchronizing me into the game, so don't gotta worry about it. I'm gonna set the content so I can have my where is it? Strange. Oh, toggle windows? Huh. It's weird. Give me a second. Maybe if I unpin it, it'll work. Let's see here. Set my contents again, please. It's crazy. Wait 1 sec. That must mean there's an issue. Recenter windows. My apologies. I'm trying to open chat again. Set contents. Window list. Hello. Ah, there it is. Switch window? There we go. Chat. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? What the fuck? It's okay, don't worry about it. Give me one moment. This means I'll get rid of it. And then I'll add another one. And then I can fix it. I'm so sorry about this. Keeping. And I still feeling it ain't hopeless. I start to notice. Can feel it falling over, no, yeah. I can feel it ain't hopeless. I start to notice. Thank you so very much, you guys. Give me one moment. I'm going to fix this really quickly. I also see that there is a new chatter. Give me one moment. So I can read everything and then pin correctly. Alright. So let's pin it. Oh dear. Maybe I need to raise it a little bit. Okay, pin it. Okay. Pin it. Thank you very much. Alright, so let's see here. Where are we now? I would be interested in the theme park history. You might like streaming Future Port 82 to Recreation of Epcot on its opening day. That's crazy. Does it sound like it's up your alley? Maybe, possibly. Hello, Wolf and More Gaming. How are you doing? I hope you're having a lovely evening. Oh wow, this brings back memories. Oh, that's where we met if I remember correctly. Oh my goodness. So here, okay, give me one moment. Hi. Just thought I should get up real personal with you guys. Also, cutie beans. Okay. Oh wait. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So how are you all doing? So I don't remember a lot of people, Wolf and War, but it's more than likely that you're on my friends list still, and I love this game, so it's highly likely that you did meet me here in that case. Give me one moment. I'm gonna see what I can do about this camera. Make it local so that I can have my display down. And I'm gonna, if I can, I believe it has a lock somewhere on it. One more. And keep the lock in my chest. Faint be your weaponry. Oh wait, no, I actually might need that. Holy shit. Right. Anyway, my apologies. I must be goofing around. I'm a little. Let me just put that back, cause oopsie daisy. Anchor default. There we go. Hello, everyone. Okay. So let's see here. I really wish I knew Wolf and War. I would love to have you join me sometime. I don't really know about tonight. Tonight's being a little busy, and I don't know when my partner's going to come back. I thought they'd be back by now. Maybe they're doing dinner downstairs, and they just decided that they didn't want to. Let's see here. I should probably send them a text or check Telegram real quick. But hello, Wolf and War. If you could tell me, what is your name in VR chat? And it is likelihood that I have met a lot of people here because I spent a lot of time, even just by myself, not streaming. I know this is one thing, but I loved playing this game, and I played it over and over and over and over and over again, even if nothing changed. I just found it so fun and playing with different people. If you remember a big brown Zeus wolf that played as a monk for most of the adventure, that was me. I feel like I should remember that. Oh, man. It's alright, don't worry. I'm sure we can play some other time again soon, or at least have a lovely, friendly discussion. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. It's Wolf and War? Understood. Thank you, Yazi. I deeply appreciate it. Also, I need to get rid of the boxes that have the subscriber thing, because they can see your subscriber by the star next to your name. I didn't think about it. I need to fix that. And everything will be fine at some point, I'm sure. Give me one moment. I'm going to see what is up with my mans on Telegram. Oh, it's other people. Oh, Mr. Big Bun, hi! Holy shit, hi! You started your account? Oh, look at you. You're an adorable bean, aren't you? Goodness gracious. So here's one of the things that, okay. So, while this is a game where you can choose different classes, unfortunately, like the other Udon Sword, so in certain games there are limitations based on that, mostly just on part of the creators that they couldn't work around. Jump scare, you did jump scare me. Ah. So how do I say it? Oh my goodness me. So when it comes to certain people that are creating, let's see, with creating certain games in VR chat, they find it hard to build around certain limitations. And some of those do involve desktop players. So when it comes to desktop players in a game like this, unfortunately, you can only play as a healer. But a healer is also a ranged caster. Unfortunately, because they're the healer, their magic is a little low. But they can also boost and cure people. And heal, of course, and do an attack. And I love using the VR stuff to kind of... like, when it's, like, time for you to cast, and kind of wave it about and do stuff. Let me see. I'll actually go to player 1 real quick and do a demonstration. I'll actually also lock the camera a little bit. As you can see, there's a thing above my head. If you can see in my first-person view. This shows either their status and other stuff like that. I don't know what this is. I think it shows if they're... No, that's boost. Question mark. It's been a while since I've played. And all you can see is the HUD down here as well. In my first person, it shows. it might have to be with who they are in their place. Oh, I'm so sorry. I actually should have sent you a friend request. Or, I mean, I should have invited you. Give me my apologies. In the case that you do actually want to be on stream before I have to go, and I'm totally down for that. I love you, Mr. Big Bun. You're wonderful. You and Jackal both. You're so wonderful. Give me a second, puppy. I think it said Mr. Big Bun. Mr. Big Bunny with numbers. Mr. Big Bunny. There he is. Mr. Big Bun. Mr. Big Bunnerbean. Oh, that's a request. My bad. My apologies. Okay. So I think when it comes to being a caster, as a desktop user, let me lock my... I'm sure I won't need it too much now. Let's see. Here we go. So, you won't have to do stuff regarding Actually, let me actually anchor it that way again, and then I'll just... No, that's not what I meant. There we go, and I'll put that on top of it. Awesome. Okay. So let me first demonstrate how this works. So, from either side of your head, you're going to be doing a swipe as you hit the back buttons as a desktop user. I'm sorry, not as a desktop user, as a VR user. So there is manuals based on how you do all the things here. I wonder how one does it on desktop, because I know you're forced into the healer class, and that's all you can do. But they do have a lot of spells, and you're also You're also one of the most important people in your team, right beside the tank. You can have a monk or not have a monk and archer, and that's totally cool. You just want to make sure that and not to mention, at all times you can swap whenever you like. So I usually play flex and just switch on the fly. I would like to demonstrate if that's okay with everybody. Sunny invited me somewhere. Oh, that's totally cool, Big Bun. Don't even worry about it. You enjoy your time with Sunny. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful time. Especially because if he knows VR chat and he's back on VR chat, and you guys are playing on VR chat, then that means that you guys are probably going to a lovely world. Wanted to jump scare ya? I hear you, Mr. Big Bun. No worries. Let's see here. Right. Okay. Huh. Oh, that's right. That's the thing I forgot. I need to change something about this. Give me a second. I don't understand. I guess I have to open up full settings to make this one work. Yeah, there it is. Give me a second. With eco mode, that was causing the issue. Okay. It doesn't seem to change much. It's okay. It's alright. It doesn't matter right now. Yeah, I'm probably over nothing. Alright, so let's see here. I don't remember this song. Give me a second. Yeah, I don't remember this. Ooh, from the Arcane soundtrack. Ooh, yeah, he mad, I'm racking them white diamonds. Into my sunshine saying, ooh, yeah, he mad, I'm racking them white diamonds. Alright, so if you guys can see through my first person view, I'm happy I made it big this time. So, give me a second, let me position my... Okay, so, all of your abilities on each class have a cooldown. This includes the archer with their arrows. They have 3. Fire arrow, poison arrow, and thunder arrow. Fire arrow is the quickest to do, does the least amount of damage, but it always comes back in just a second. So what I recommend if you're on, what do you say? If you're on, VR, yeah, sorry, with your hands. What you do is after you unleash one, you click to the next one. And yeah, you can just do it like that. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4. But technically, if you want to get more damage out of it, what I learned and just started doing because I played this so much and I wanted to up my damage counter to optimize it, what I did was fire, poison, back to fire, lightning, fire, then back to poison, and then they continue the rotation. And then it'll continue going. You'll always have an arrow up in that rotation, which is one that I made, which is this is rotation that I happened to figure out myself. And then I began telling a bunch of people why they started playing this game, because it was one of my favorite games at the time. I really wish that I had like eye tracking or face tracking so I could keep my eyes on you, but my avatar doesn't do that. I want full body tracking and hip tracking and face tracking and eye tracking and all that stuff, but that's like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and I'm nothing but a poor boy who makes no money. I'm a homemaker. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just daydreaming for a second. I really want to dance in VR is what I want to do, so I can stream that stuff. I love dancing so much. I love singing too, which I will definitely sing on stream sometime. We'll ground city, rounds with me, then we all win. Oh my god, an ad starts in 8 minutes and 30-something seconds. Jesus Christ. Very nice, very smart tail. Thank you, Yazi, you sweet bean. Let me see here. I'm gonna switch my class real quick. So even though the sun's shining, so this is the healer class, which is let's see. My apologies. So as you can see, you have a wand and a staff. But one of the things that I love about Udon Sword specifically is your ability to hide all of your things. So in the case that how you have them in your hands, whatever the same item is in whatever way that you want it, you can actually change it and just hide it when you're holding it. When you hold it, it hides itself. Like, let me do a demonstration. Oh, let me move out of the way. So now the healer staff is here, and now it's not. So I grab it. So, yeah. Oh, that's right. I don't have a target to do that on right now. Okay, so what I like doing is doing it to the healer staff instead, because I don't have a model that has it anything like this. And you're supposed to grab it right here. But I noticed that a lot of the action is right here at the top, so instead what I do is kind of like, so that it looks like it's coming out of my hand like I'm a mage that's casting it directly. So let me make a demonstration. I forget not forgiven. Don't you dare get it twisted. I'm nice, but I can get wicked. This is one of my favorite songs by the Arcane soundtrack, by the way. So let's see here. Oh, right. So you can do it as lazily as you want. All you have to do is that when you go for cast, once it's fully powered up, you have, on any target, whether it be a heal or anything like this, you have to move your hand in a forward manner or upwards. So what I end up doing is either one or the other. So now let me show you how it kind of looks with the staff, I suppose. Oh, also when you're so there's an in combat gauge. So when, that's the class gauge, just because I didn't have one selected earlier. Okay, so there's an in combat gauge, and when you're in combat, you move slower. Just to let you know, which is why you'll feel staggered while you're fighting. Oh, I think my husband's home. So you can boost heal and area heal or cure someone. And next stream that I do, I will most likely be ending up playing this map for everyone. Let me see what I can do real quick. Hi, honey.
Wrong one.
I know. What'd you guys go do? I'm streaming right now. I'll end it in a second, as I'm sure you would like me to do. Okay, you sweet, wonderful boy. Tell me if I have to get off, okay? Oh, I do? Okay. Oh, I do indeed. Give me a second. Jeez, guys, a little rough. Alright. Gotcha, honey. Alright, let's see. Well, thank you everyone for coming by. Thank you so much, Mr. Big Bunny, and thank you for Crim Lionheart for raiding into me, as well as I appreciate all the follows and stuff like that. Thank you everyone for stopping by. It's so nice. Never feel obligated to come. I just appreciate a passing hi or lurking. Tell me you know. Let's see here. Thank you for all. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. You got White Castle. All right. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. All right. So, guys, I guess I'm gonna have to go. I hope you all have an absolutely delightful night. I'm going to pick a raid target that we can raid into until the stream stops, and I'm going to make sure to keep an eye on that timer in the case of such. Give me a second while I do this to my camera so I can kind of take you guys with me. Oopsie daisy. I did that in real life. I did that in game like it was real life. My apologies. Alright. Baby. You sweet boy. Oh my. Cute bean. I love you, handsome man. Oh my god. Oh dear. I'm gonna snooze the raid for 5 minutes so that we could get something here. Oh wow, I'm really leaning in, aren't I? Give me a second. Let me... That's as close as... That's the best I could do. There we go. So let's see here. Love the stream today. Take care. Thank you so much, Ozzy. Of course, stylish Ozzy. Appreciate it. Give me a second. I'm gonna set up a raid target. New window? No, I didn't want to do new window, but I guess that's what's happening right now. The gift to be in your company. Love you too, handsome man. Please don't. Okay, darling. I don't mind. As in I could watch it. Not particularly interested. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm gonna get off this anyway, so I mean, if you wanted to, but I love you too, cute man. Let's see here. Give me one moment. Oh dear. I wonder who I should raid into. There's a lot of people here. Oh my. My apologies about the additional audio. Give me a second. I'm trying to find a certain raid target to raid into, everybody. Oh dear. I don't know why it's taking that at my wrist. Let's see here, my dude. Oh goodness, this is quite the audio. My apologies. Rechain of Memories, Dark Cecilia, or Ego Punk. I think I'm doing into Ego Punk. Give me a second, everyone.
You know what I was thinking? Maybe I should buy her a car. No, she was so disappointed when Eddie didn't give her.
There we go.
I mean, I've got some money.
We're gonna raid into Ego Punk soon, everyone.
How much money?
I think about 12,000, I think.
Goodness gracious.
I know a guy sells cars. Why don't you give me the money and I'll buy her
Oh
something
dear. My apologies, everyone.
That would be wonderful.
It's a mistake. Don't do it. See. I'm gonna make sure that I... Oh dear, I should also have theirs opened up. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Maybe a Volvo. I heard those are real safe. Eddie, you know you're not welcome here.
Oh my goodness gracious. I'm so sorry, everyone. Give me a second. It's just a show. What? I'm trying, honey. You raid into people, darling. Honey. Oh my goodness. Oh, and of course the time I'm gonna mute is when it steals my mouse.